This is violence personified right here. This is Edson Jr. Barboza coming off of a couple of losses against Billy Quarantillo, who I still think is underrated, even given his Dana White Contender Series slow build, slow burn kind of come up that he's had in the promotion thus far. So, AJ, if we have to say Pedro Munoz versus Chris Gutierrez, Edson Barboza versus Billy Quarantillo, Rafa Garcia versus Clay Guida, we're seeing these matchups now where at this stage, these dudes who have been title challengers, these dudes who have been very highly regarded in the MMA landscape, now your job is on the line now, buddy. You know what I mean? Now it's a matter of let's give the new young guys a shot. Do you think Edson Barboza can pull a Max Holloway-esque performance type, that we're thinking of against Arnold Allen? Or do you think Billy Quarantillo is going to do what Bryce Mitchell did to him, but just, worse?
This is a very hard fight to choose, Derek. The more I think about it in my mind, instantly, like Edson Barboza is going to come out. He's looking strong. He's going to have all the power, the poise, the experience of an old school fighter. But he's on a 3-fight losing streak. Yeah. What makes me happy about him, though, is he's fighting for his job right now. I talked about the MMA Twitter before, and if you're a Twitter fan of Billy Quarantillo, you're right, Derek. He is criminally underrated. Yeah. They're making memes about this boy, but nothing is funny about how this dude fights, man. If you watched his last fight against Alexander the Great Hernandez, you saw how bloody Billy Q can be, but still come back from any adversity at all. Billy Quarantillo is a hell of a fighter, Derek. And what makes it hard for me, man, is Quarantillo never says quit, has an endless gas tank, but Barboza is kind of that dominating figure when you're the dude that's coming up and you're fighting Edson Jr. Barboza. You can't tell me you get a little bit of chills while you're walking down. You're just a little bit in your head. Does Billy Q have the star power, have the mental fortitude to fight that going into this? Is this going to be another moment, or is this just another fight for Billy Q? I don't know, Derek. What do you think? Is that going to play into the matter at all, or is this strictly a chess match we're going to see?
I think it always comes into account, right? When you're thinking about fighting a legend like Edson Barboza. You probably grew up watching the dude, you know what I mean? But that doesn't matter when you're trying to take their rank, when you're trying to really jump in. I mean, Edson Barboza at number 14 almost seems crazy until you realize, all right, well, this ain't the Edson Barboza of old, right? I think this is the thing that concerns me. I was watching tape on that Bryce Mitchell fight, and Mitchell dropped Barboza. It was more of kind of a trip than a real drop, man. But it's like he had more success standing than you really would have thought. And I think the only reason why is because he took away the kicks of Edson Barboza. You throw a kick, I'm going to catch it, I'm going to take you down. So I'm going to paralyze your offense with my takedown ability. Now, Billy Quarantillo is not that kind of fighter. He's not I'm going to get on your hips at any cost. He's more of I'm going to strike with you, I'm going to get you back against the cage, and then I'm going to get in, we're going to start working that clinch, and then slowly but surely I'm going to drown you with that. So my concern is this. If Edson Barboza can rally strong in that first round, I think he can get the job done in round 1. But we've seen if you do not put Billy Q away, it's going to be that slow and steady pace that will drown you over 3 rounds. We saw it with Alexander Hernandez. We've seen it many a time before. And the last real victory that Edson Barboza has is against Shane Burgos in what was a tit-for-tat back-and-forth fight. So, AJ, when we talk about MMA math, Shane Burgos has a victory over Billy Quarantillo. Some people thought it was a little controversial, right? A little divisive, right? It wasn't what Edson Barboza did to Shane Burgos. It wasn't no finish or anything. Does the MMA math play into this matchup or no?
I mean, I've heard it both ways, Derek. MMA math never works. MMA math always works. And honestly, the person that said it both ways is Uncle Chill. So I don't know which one to believe, all right? In this fight, I do think it matters, man. Billy Quarantillo, as much as he's going to go in there and thinking about how big of a moment this is, he's going to be a smart fighter. He's always been a smart fighter. And he's going to stick to his game plan. And you're right. You hit the nail on the head. The quicker Barboza can finish this fight, can put Quarantillo away, the better it is for him. If Quarantillo is able to shut down those kicks, shut down the range, push Barboza up against the fence and actually fight his fight, it's going to be a 3-round drowning. I couldn't agree with you more. The thing is, what matters for me, what the X factor that matters for me for Barboza and Quarantillo as well, is what's fighting for right here. Barboza, this is his job. Do you want to be relegated to one of the boys in the back that's going to go fight at, Cage Fury, PFL, anywhere else, or not feed your family and have this young dude come up and take your stuff for Quarantillo, this is your shot. This is what you've been working for. You've been grinding for years. We've been talking about Quarantillo since the sleeper section, Derek, in 2020. And this dude has been on the grind ever since. So it's a matter of which X factor, who wants it more to me, because I can see skill set working both ways in each fighter's advantage. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, you make a great point. You make a great point on this one, man. Both of them are fighting for something. Both of them have advantages, right? I just think that at a certain point in the game, when you see the look in Edson Barboza's eyes when he was getting taken down in the second and third round against Bryce Mitchell, it was almost like you're letting everybody know this is my path to victory. Take away the kicks, make him box with you. I feel confident in a boxing match, Barboza versus Quarantillo, that Quarantillo can definitely hang with him. Then you mix in the threat of the takedown. To me, sometimes that's all it is. Threaten them. Just make them think about it. If I can make you think about it for all 3 rounds, you're not going to be... Of course, you got to worry about some crazy spinning wheel kicks and, classic Barboza. But, I mean, odds-wise, I think the odds makers see this kind of the way that I'm looking at it to a degree. Minus 155 for Quarantillo. Not an overly large discrepancy, right? They're saying Barboza, he's a dog, but he's not the biggest dog in the world. What's interesting to me, man, decision prop is plus 250 a pop for both fighters. TKO prop is actually better on Quarantillo's side in terms of they think it's going to come to fruition. What do you read into that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little bit of narrative right here, Derek. What we saw Billy Quarantillo do in his last fight against Alexander the Great Hernandez as well, I mean, as his entire career, man, is even though he did lose the Shane Burgos fight, is still, he's a warrior. He's a dog. KO Gabriel Benitez, like KO Kyle Nelson. When Billy Quarantillo is on his game, he's able to put together combinations that has you sleeping. Now, will he be able to do that against an experienced veteran? I don't think so. And that's where the odds, to me, kind of start to make a little sense. Why it's such a close fight. Edson Barboza's seen all these things. He's done all these things, kind of the same narrative we were talking about before with Max Holloway. But Billy Quarantillo's sharp, man. And this is why it was so hard for me to choose back and forth. When I was doing fight breakdown for this one, man, I wrote it back and forth, Barboza, Quarantillo, Barboza, Quarantillo. This is a hard fight to pick, and it makes sense why the odds are so close to me.
That's right, man. I'm just going to put it this way. Listen, I like Billy Q. I like the young gun coming up in this one, man. And I do think that he will be able to reign supreme as long as he doesn't get finished early. But, I mean, who knows, man? We'll see on Saturday night. So give me Billy Quarantillo. I'm actually going to take that plus 250 decision prop. It almost feels like you should just take the TKO just because. But I think you got to give Edson Barboza credit. If you're really looking at his last couple of fights, man, yeah, he got finished by Giga Chikadze. But aside from that, last time he got finished was 2019 Justin Gaethje, and you can't fault nobody for that, right? Give me Billy Q. Give me a victory by drowning decision. Let's go. What you got?
I like it, Derek, and it makes a lot of sense. Personally, myself, I'm going Barboza. Give me the early TKO. Give me a round 2. I see the same thing, though. Doctor stoppage, cut, stepping in. Billy Q's a bleeder. We'll see if Barboza can get it done, though.
All right. Well, that's going to be a fun featherweight co-main event right there.